Sexism, Money and Power. What lies beneath? Celeste Ntuli is a South African comedian, actress, TV host and producer. She has won numerous awards as an actress and comedian. This year, she can be seen in the reality show Last One Laughing South Africa, LOL SA, where she competes with 9 other comedians. Flora Mutai is director and CEO at Melvin March International. Her entrepreneurial career spans over 28 years in the manufacturing sector. She has proven ability to innovate, conceptualize, and implement business solutions. Alia Bare is a fashion designer from Niger. She is the daughter of former president of Niger, Ibrahim Bare Mahinassara. Now based in Senegal, Alia created her eponymous brand in 2015. Her fashion reflects the current cosmopolitan African woman who travels the world and wears clothes with a hint of diversity. The moderator is VP Peters, senior anchor at CNBC Africa.
So I see you guys are tired of saying wolf for me now. I'm not going to take it personally. I know it has been a long day. And you've seen too much of me. Don't worry, it's the last time you see me for now. But guys, thank you so much. As my colleague Tanya has mentioned, this panel is looking at sexism, money, and power. And we're exploring these 3 factors, and we are interrogating the degree to which money discriminates between these 3 factors, and particularly as we are living in a time right now that is pretty gender fluid. And we're going to ask if money doesn't discriminate on a base of sex and money and power, if it doesn't discriminate on your color, your creed, whatever, then is society justified in doing so right now, particularly in these changing times that are heavily being influenced by technology? So, Flora, I'm going to begin with you. As a seasoned entrepreneur, your reflections on these 3 tenets, ma'am, and the degree or how they have changed in terms of what they mean to society right now compared to what they meant in the not-so-distant past.
Thank you very much. And let me begin with a story.
Sure.
So the story is told of a young girl who rejected the whole corporate story and said, listen, I want to go do my own thing. And the fight began right there. Somebody who had been brought up in a very equal environment. Anything goes. The boys make the breakfast, the girls do this. And the messaging becomes, women get married. Women do not start an entrepreneurial venture. Then they come up with a brilliant idea, and go out to the corporate and try and learn how to do it. And everybody starts saying, are you competent? Do you know it? What is your business acumen? So they start doubting themselves. They go out to look for funding. And, hey, this is what, we can give you this, no problem. This is the collateral we require. This person, 28 years ago, is me.
Sure.
I fought all that, build my brand. We have a brand of tea called Melvin's, which is the largest flavored tea brand in Kenya right now. And thank you. And your question is, has that changed? What are the biases? Definitely. I mean, today, there's a lot more opportunities for women to become entrepreneurs. There's a lot more funding available. There's a lot more capacity building. In fact, there's a whole encouragement around people really getting into the entrepreneurial space. Are the stereotypes still there and gender biases? Yes, they are. They are. But because I leant on the shoulders of other women who had gone before, and we have gone, the whole narrative is definitely changing.
It's changing.
It's definitely changing. So if we go down and look at power, it was sexism, money. Yes, so we've spoken about money, and then power, leadership.
Power, yeah.
Yes, definitely the leadership narrative has changed. I would begin, let's say, at the board level. Kenya right now is leading, I think, in women in boards, which is at 36% compared to 24 on the African continent. Again, women in the C-suite is quite a large percentage. What really hasn't shifted much is at the lower cadre, we're still very, very female-dominated, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's been improvement, but
there's still
certainly
there's
a lot
still
more
room
that
for
can be
a
done.
lot more improvement.
Sure. I mean, when you're talking about the fact that that person 28 years ago was you, I'm thinking you don't look very much different than you did when you did 28 years ago. You look absolutely fantastic. You should tell us what the secret is. And the energy's there as well. So Les, coming to you, I was in my research preparing for you, you know, because I didn't just wake up like this. I had to. And you said something really profound, and you spoke about the fact that this generation right now is seeing a lot of stuff that has never been seen before. Yeah. And one thing that actually did stand out was the fact that you said that, you know, now we are literally living in a time where you can choose how you want to be classified, whether you want to be classified as a man, whether you want to be classified as a woman, whether you want to be classified as neither, right? And so perhaps tell us what's going on in the business of entertainment and comedy right now, specifically where you have chosen to park your ride. How are these factors, sexism, money and power, playing out in your industry?
With regards to sexism, as a comedian, because for the longest time comedy has been made to be the sport of men. Men are the ones that do comedy. It takes away, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff that when I do them, the society deems as something that is less feminine, like being funny. Men want to be humorous in a relationship, not you be funny. So it's like the slowly understanding of the society and how they view us as women. As funny as this, we're living in a fluid generation when it comes to sex itself, but when it comes to acquiring things, we are still stuck on if you work hard and you're smart enough, then you're less feminine. And I think the society have robbed themselves of great women like Nina Simone's and Winnie Mandela's and Miriam Makeba. When you read their stories, they were still being denied to be seen as what they contribute with in whatever that they were doing. And the society was robbed into learning and receiving those contributions, because sometimes it is being locked just because you're a woman. And when it comes to comedy, I had to overcome that whole thing of like, I love this thing, I love what I'm doing. It doesn't take anything away from me as a woman. As a result, if you see me performing on stage, I deliberately make sure that I look as feminine as possible. And I'm happy now that there's so many comics that are coming up that are younger and women. That doesn't mean that if you're funny, because there was that period when when you're a comedian, you can just wear, you can look like a manish so that at least they can accept you. Sure. But then that doesn't make us embrace our feminine energy as such. But I think we, as a society, I'm glad that it has started with sexism and sexuality itself, but I wish it, and I hope it grows into businesses and what people do and view as dreams. Like, I took after my father. In Zulu, you know, when you're your father's, you're your father's daughter. So every little thing I have is I took all the great parts from my dad. But for me to exercise them, everyone else was viewing them as masculine energy. And I think most women, that's where they struggle, even to come into comedy space, for example. Most women are like, but what are men going to think? I talk too much, that limits people expressing themselves and understanding if they're funny or not. And for me, I've always, challenged it and said, comedy, we don't pick up even cement there. It's a mental sport. So it has nothing to do with your genitals.
Absolutely,
But the society has already deemed it. It's man's world. And I'm happy that I have outgrown that. All my comedians, my fellow comics are now, not even now, for the longest time they've treated me as a comedian. And I got a very nice advice from a great woman, Thandiswa Mazwai, who said to me, all you have to worry about is what you do on stage. The rest is for them to talk. So when I'm on stage, I'm the best. And I'm happy with it.
I love it. And it's actually very bizarre. I mean, to think that something as human as making someone laugh has been genderized.
Yeah.
Bizarre. Anyway, Alia, Fashion, just give us insights into your world right now. I mean, more and more we are seeing women that look like you that are coming out and showcasing absolutely fantastic productions, across world stages, exporting absolutely fantastic concepts of your clothing and ideas. And I know you even have done a lot of work in terms of tying the economic story of Niger, which she's from, and placing a positive spin on your country that's completely opposite to what the media usually runs with the coups and the instability and all of that that does happen. But when you look at these three tenets that we're talking about, the sexism and power and money and all of that, in fashion, has there been a change in the time that you've been there?
Well, it's very complicated to answer that question, because when you look back, there was a lot of famous fashion house run by women, like when you see Chanel, Schiaparelli, Madame Grey in Paris and all. There was a lot of famous seamstress and couturier. And this person have given some highlights. I'm sorry, my French accent is terrible, so really my apologies. And so right now, I can see that we have space to express ourselves. But compared to others, I would say, like, for example, when I started being a designer, because it's a late reconversion, this is also something that is very important. This is a career that I started at 35. I went back to school at 31.
Sure.
I had already my 2 kids. Nobody was agreeing to that. They were telling me, because I had a banking background, they told me, you are just like doing something crazy. But I say, I don't mind. I'm going to take my savings. My husband didn't want to finance it. I took my savings to go back to school full-time with 18 years old girls to study that.
And look at you now.
So that's why I think what is very important for me, even if it's not in the subject, I mean, I'm sure there are some women here. Like, you can be married, you can have kids. I went back to university. My younger daughter was 1.5 years. I was at school during the day, taking care of the house, and then at night I was studying to catch up with those 18 years girls. And it's never too late to follow your dream and to accomplish it. And you will prove them wrong with time. So really believe in it. If you feel this deep inside, just follow it. It's gonna be hard for sure, but please do it. So now to come back to our subject, sure. I think that sometimes they want us in fashion to be eccentric. There is an issue where, like right now, if you don't do something special, original, like half naked, or like with like people, like men dressed as women or whatever, you don't have space to express. They will think like they are mistaking it fashion and entertainment. So, and most of the time, women, we are very focused on what we are doing. We do our work. We want to showcase things, and I do things that I want people to wear. I don't want things to be worn on stage. I want things that normal women like you are wearing. And it's very important. And even like women right now, I always counsel them on what to wear, because a lot of women don't know, compared to sexism, what they should wear in terms of work, in terms of when they are confronting with, like, they have some conferences with some politician in a man-friendly environment. What should I wear? Not to be provocative, but still be elegant and be attractive. So this is something very important. And now more and more, there is some people like us to like advise them so that they can be comfortable in that environment. Sure. And so I think this is where women have their space for other women to express.
Sure. And I think that's an important point, just also at the least of maybe saying something that's unpopular right now. When you talk about dressing in a manner whereby, you know, you're not trying to be too provocative out there, there is an element to which perhaps we need to look in the mirror as a woman ourselves in terms of playing towards these stereotypes in how you arrive, in your attire, and particularly if you do believe in that saying that, you know, how you dress sometimes determines how you will be dressed. But we're going to wrap it up, and I think that, I mean, ultimately, this is the last panel of the day. It's the last panel of the day, and so just you guys have had the opportunity to process all the conversations that have been taking place the entire day. And I just would like your message. I mean, beyond what you have said around not necessarily playing into the stereotypes, but rising above them. And Ali, I think you even gave us your message in terms of it's never too late to start. She started at 35, she had 2 kids. Her husband said no, she said, I'm gonna go. And the rest is history. But Flora and Celeste, if you leave us with your parting shots, so just for today as we prepare to wrap up what has been a fantastic session, what would that be? Flora, beginning with you. Oh, Celeste, you wanna, okay. Okay, no.
I talk too much. I think my message to all women is that ours is a journey, and it started from different generations, and we must really allow ourselves to be who we want to be without the society saying, if you do this, this is what it means. Because I feel like we are now no longer obviously oppressed on so many things, but there's a lot of push on fear. If you do this, then you want to get married. If you do this, oh my God, they're going to look at this way. And in my 40s, I've seen so many women who are depressed and have so much anxiety and don't have time to bask in their achievements because the society says you haven't achieved enough if you don't have a child. You haven't achieved enough if you're not married. You haven't achieved enough if... but I feel like it's time for us to just live within what we have inside and express ourselves as human beings beyond our sex and gender.
I love that. Flora, last word to you, ma'am.
Thank you. I think for me, what I've heard today is a lot of women who have managed to, to challenge the norms. And that's what I want to say. I think we need to continue to challenge the norms, to challenge the paradigms and not live in the history. Have the guts for women. Step out. Learn to doubt your doubts. Learn to take a stage and really say, I am creating my own path. And that way, when we create new norms, obviously, then we will definitely push a better divide. Right. And just a quick one, because I didn't speak much about my entrepreneurial, especially the manufacturing space.
Sure.
I think it's an area I would like to encourage more women to come into. The numbers are still not brilliant. I think it's 20% of women in the manufacturing in the space in manufacturing are women. It's a brilliant area, and women can scale. A lot of women do manufacture stuff, but they don't scale. So we've started programs of women in manufacturing. I know there's even one here in South Africa. It's a beautiful sector that women should actually be able to take and do. And this is what I'm talking about. Challenge the paradigm. I actually feel that careers today have no gender. Money today has no gender. And therefore, we can beat this dividend divide.
Okay. And I think that to take that seriously, that's an invitation from Kenya's largest manufacturer of flavor tea, right? Flavor tea, inviting ladies
Melvin's.
There you go, inviting ladies to join her in the manufacturing space. But of course, absolutely wonderful insights and inspiring insights shared by the both of you as well, Celeste and Aliyah. We got to run. Sean is running a tight ship right now. But to all of you, thanks so much. Tanya's coming back, and she's going to tell us what we're doing next. But
Aren't
just
we
a
gonna
warm
get a joke?
You didn't?
Aren't we going to get a joke?
Oh, no. They didn't pay for that.